My name is Daniel Unmanageable, and this is Hard Knox Talks. So, tonight's guest, Sharon Acoose, was brought up on the streets of Regina, Saskatchewan. From substance use to crime to jail time, Sharon thought it was normal to live outside the law. Today, she enjoys a much safer and meaningful life, to say the very least, and we're going to meet her right after this.
I spent 23 years living in addiction. 16 of those years I worked as a Red Seal tradesperson in Saskatchewan and Northern Alberta. During that time, I made many mistakes and took more than a few hard knocks. I went from tradesman to business owner to hiding from gang members and dumpster diving. But with that lived experience, I've decided to try and make a change. I've dedicated my life to raising awareness and promoting change in the fields of substance use and psychological health and safety. So join me and my guests as we take off the blinders around mental health in our communities and at work, and shine a light on what's working and what's not working in the fields of mental health and occupational health and safety. I'm Daniel Unmanageable, and I'll be your host, and this is Hard Knox Talks.
Okay, so Javier Duran from LinkedIn, thanks for the comment, man. Thanks for watching. Brenda Hearn from YouTube, awesome. Thank you for being here tonight. Before I bring Sharon on, I wanted to just throw this out. Sharon and I had a discussion down by the river, interview, if you will, about the tragedy that has been uncovered in Kamloops. That episode will be dropping tomorrow morning on the Hard Knox Talks YouTube channel at 8 a.m. So please make sure to check that out. We had a very meaningful conversation. And without further ado, let's see, where are you? Here we are. Hello, Sharon.
Hello.
How are you tonight? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I was nervous this morning.
Yeah. No, I messaged you this morning. I'm like, how are you feeling? And Sharon says, good. And then 5 seconds later, I got a text saying, I'm nervous AF. So
yes.
Are you? Oh, we've already got someone chiming in here. We have Teresa saying hello, cuz. You know Teresa?
Yeah, it's my cuz.
Hey, hi, thanks for the comment, Teresa. And we've got Janelle. Thanks for the comment, Janelle. Okay, Sharon, are you ready for the flashback?
Shoot.
Here we go. Okay, we've got Anne here saying hello. We've got Shireen here saying hello. Thank you, ladies, for the comments. Okay, Sharon, why don't you tell us what it was like growing up?
Oh gosh, where do I start? Okay, so like I told you, I was born in Regina, May 3rd, 1953. So y'all can write that down, and I'll expect money orders next year. and I'll be 69. So nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Any hootie. I come from a long line of addiction. I can't call my people addicts or alcoholics because they're not here to defend themselves. But I know that something wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like it was normal. I was kind of born. I was born right into it. I was born into the street, unbeknownst to my family, and you know, it was it was like just surreal, you know, like when I started remembering, and I thought, holy shit, man, people are going to think that I watch too much TV, or they're not going to believe me, or, you know. And then I was sexually molested from the time I was 3 until I was about 10 or 11. And that set another pace. You know, that took a piece of me that wasn't ready to be gone, but it left. And That was my child spirit. And she went and hid for a long time. There was there was no way, there was nowhere to hide and nowhere to run. And I would just end up bouncing around here and there. And my parents would split up, and I ended up going to because I was born, my dad moved into the city, so I was born non-status. We're from Sagamay, Nishnawbek, Treaty 4. So I was born non-status, and my dad had sold his treaty rights when he left Sagamay. And so, I just was born, and I don't remember. I remember like bits and pieces of my childhood. Like the sexual abuse is just something that's just stuck in my head. I can tell you verbatim what happened, like just minute by minute. And that's kind of uncanny, but I think it's for a reason. I think because I use it as a tool, right? I use it as a tool in recovery, and in my classroom, I share my lived experience to my students. Mm-hmm. And I ended up in this place. It was in Ituna. I think it's still there. Ituna, Saskatchewan. That's down south, I believe.
I've been there. I had my grade 12. I had my grade 12 party. My grade 12 grad party was in Ituna. What a mess that was.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I was there. I think it was a convent or an orphanage. I don't know, but I was there for, I'm not sure how long, maybe a year. But I remember having my hair cut and slapped into a uniform, and they put that white stuff all over you to delouse you. It's like a powder. Uh-huh. So they were like, the sexual abuse stopped while I got there, but they were still pretty mean. The nuns weren't, they weren't taught childcare, I guess, right? And the bitches were nasty. They stunk. And I might go to hell for that one, but been there. So, yeah. I ended up, to make a long story short, I ended up back with my mother. I'd lived in the U.S. for a while with my dad. I ended up back with my mom when I was about 11 or 12 or something like that. And I would stay with her until she died.
So did you feel safe at home?
Yeah, like with my mother, I did.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay there.
So, and these things that happened to you, they happened at your grandma's
when
house.
I was a kid at my excuse me, yeah, my my Crookam's house would be my mom's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so, did the rest of the family know what was going on?
I don't know, Daniel. Honestly, I think that someone must have knew, but it just in the 50s, you didn't talk about that shit, right? You just lifted up a rug and swept it under there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just doesn't talk.
So how was school? Like, how was your relationships with your peers?
I was a bully. I was a bully because, yeah, really. I probably would have had you up against a locker too.
Probably. I was bullied. So yeah, you probably would have.
Yeah. I was a bully because I didn't know any better. And I think the abuse had a lot to do with that, right? Mm-hmm. But I remember I went to school in the States for a little bit, and then I came back here and finished off my 6, 7, and 8, at Regina Park School in Regina, which is now the gathering place. And that's where I would end up finishing grades 6, 7, and 8. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they just graduated me to get rid of me because I didn't learn shit. Mm-hmm. I knew how to spell. I learned how to read. I could throw a mean football, and I was really good at high jump.
Can you still throw a mean football?
No. No, can't throw a mean football.
No.
But so, and I remember like my mom was like this beacon of light and just beauty, and she was so amazing. And I just didn't treat her very good. She left this world without, I don't know if I even ever told her I loved her. I think I might have when I wanted something. Mm-hmm. And, and then I got pregnant. I got pregnant when I was 16, and she tried to talk to me about sex when I was 15 or 14 or 15. And of course, being that I knew everything, mm-hmm. I said, quit talking to me about that. What do you think I am? Well, I know what I was.
So you got pregnant in grade 9 then,
Yeah.
correct? So so how did that go? How did that affect schooling and the family and the friends?
Well, I didn't finish school.
Yeah.
I quit in grade 9 because, kids are always making fun of me. And I was always fighting.
Yeah.
Like
So what kind of trouble were you getting into in school?
Well, I was fighting and more fighting and just being annoying. And that's where we used to get the strap. They had the strap was about this long. I think about 2 feet, a piece of leather. And I think it was about that wide. And then it must have been at least, I would say a quarter, eighth of an inch. It was just a big black strap. And that's what we get the strap. And my principal, Mr. McNeil, I even remember his name. He was a drunk. I probably drove him to drink. I was always in his office at least once or twice a week. And you'd have to put your hands out like this. And he would, you could see that strap coming down. And I thought, oh, and it hurt like a bitch. Oh my God. But, at this point, I thought, I was already groomed by men. And I was already had a bitterness about men, except for my dad and my brothers. I had this thing that any man who ever came into my life was going to meet my wrath because of what my uncles did to me. So he would be bringing up that belt, bring it down, and I'd move my hands, and he'd hit himself. Oh my God, he'd just go insane. And I mean, that thing hurt like a bitch, but I never cried. I never shed one tear because I was never going to ever let anyone see my weakness, especially him.
Yeah.
So school, I mean, I had friends, I had buddies in school, and I started smoking dope and drinking and smoking cigarettes and thinking we were cool. And there wasn't very many Indian kids in the school either. I think there might have been about, I can't even remember, maybe 5 or 6 of us, if that. Because there wasn't many Indians in Regina back in the 50s, early 60s, 70s. But so yeah, it was just chaos. My life was chaos. Simply a simple chaos. Like just one moment to the next, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I just lived. I just lived hard. By the time I was 15, I was shoving needles in my arms already at 15.
So how old were you when you started getting into crime and supporting habits?
I was 18. Mm-hmm. I was already on the street.
Yeah.
My mom died.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my mom died in December 31st, I think, January 1st, 1970.
And that was shortly after the birth of your child, right? Your first child.
Yeah, my daughter was only 9 months old, I think, but she got taken away from me.
Yeah. And
my mom had told me when I got pregnant, we were sitting at the kitchen table, and she looked at me and she said, "Are you pregnant?" And I just about choked on because I knew I was, and I didn't know how I was going to tell her, but she just knew. And so she was making all these grandiose promises and telling me, I'll be here forever. I'll help you look after this baby. And a year later, she passed away. So that went south pretty fast. And my little girl was taken away from me. I was deep fit mother.
Who took your girl?
My aunt and uncle.
This wasn't ministry. This wasn't ministry involved.
No.
Huh.
Wasn't ministry.
Okay. So how did that feel when they took her? Was that terrible, or was that relief, or what did you feel?
You know what? Maybe a combination. I didn't really care, I don't think. I think it was a relief, and I loved her, but I know I couldn't look after her. After my mom died, I thought, I can't. Because I was already just a mess. It was a hot mess, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I couldn't even look after myself.
Yeah. So how were you making ends meet then?
Well, I was first a thief. I could steal the shirt off your back without you looking. And that's how I made my money at the beginning. And then I started charging up dope, and one of the old girls from downtown, she said to me, she said, Sharon, she said, you owe people money. And I think you better start paying back. You're going to end up in a ditch. So I thought, shit, now what? I said, what am I going to do? I had no education, nothing. And she said, well, I'll take you somewhere. I'll have someone to introduce you. And she turned me on. She turned me to my first trick. And that was the grossest thing I think I ever could have aspired to. But you know what? It was easy money. And I was in and out of the room in like 10 minutes. So, and that's how it began. And that's where my addictions really kicked in, because I couldn't stand what I was doing to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was selling my body, and I just, it was horrible. But it's how I had to live.
So you mentioned you were using intravenously at 15. What were you using?
Anything and everything. Didn't matter what it was.
Yeah. So time went on a little, and then you lost your brother. How did that happen?
Yeah, my brother was shot. My brother was shot in the Wascana Hotel. It was nice out. So it was in the first 6 months of 1971 or 72, I think. I'm really bad with dates and shit. So he died the year after my mom passed away. And he just, he was 24 years old, and the street just took him,
Mm-hmm. How did you cope with that?
Just got loaded. I remember being in his room with him at the Regina General Hospital, and he was laying in this bed, and they had tubes and shit all over him, and his face was swollen on one side where the bullet went in, and it didn't come out, so it lodged in his head. And I think he was already dead, but I didn't notice. Like, I was feeling his feet. His feet were cold. His feet were cold up to his knees. And the nurse came in. The nurse was looking at me, and she came back, and she gave me, what the hell did she give me? Some Valium or something. She gave me something to calm me down. And she talked me into going home and said, come back later. Well, they needed to clean him up because he already passed on. But if I could pray at that point, I think I was bargaining. I'll do anything, please. Let him live. Take me. All that bullshit. Take me. I'll change my life. Well, I wasn't ready to change shit. And this was all about me. This wasn't about my brother. Because this got me the center of everyone's attention. Oh, poor Sharon. Well, I just ate that shit up like a candy bar.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I cared that he passed away, right? But at the same time, now I was getting all this attention because I was the baby sister. So I just soaked that shit up, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So had you done any jail time by this point?
Well, I started at 18. Yeah, I started going to Pine Grove. I was just a little puppy. I think the most I ever did was about a year.
Yeah.
In and out,
Yeah. And then you decided to go to Vancouver.
Me and my friend, one of my besties. So I'm gonna take a swig.
Give her.
Me and one of my besties. She said, "Let's go to Vancouver." I said, "Okay, let's go." And so we packed up our shit. Her and her little girl. This little girl was 2 years old, and she just loved me. It was crazy. I don't want to say their names, but anyway, she was my bestie, and that little girl was just amazing. And we packed up our suitcases, and we went to the liquor store. We bought each a cc, a 40 cc of a 40 of Canadian Club. Away we go on the train to Vancouver. I was so freaking drunk, it wasn't even funny. I think I was turning tricks with the porters. I was doing something. Anywho, because I had money.
Yeah.
But that was just, and then we got to East Hastings. I'm not sure where we lived. I lived with them for a while, and then I ended up getting knocked up again, and had my own place a few times, but yeah, East Hastings was my and East Hastings, I got to tell you something. It wasn't as bad as it is today. The streets were clean, and people didn't actually fix on the street anywhere. If they did, it was not too often. And I remember fixing dope in Chinatown in the alley. I remember being alone and hungry and I didn't even know there was mountains. That's crazy.
You missed the mountains on the way by?
I missed the mountains. Don't even remember.
Huh. Crazy. Was there ever any time when you were out in Vancouver on Hastings that you were homeless?
I think so. I think I had a room. I might have had a room. I wasn't homeless, but I always had like a trick room, and I live in it. I would live in this room, and but I remember, being dope sick and being on the streets and trying to make a buck. When you're dope sick, it's hard. It's hard doing anything.
Yeah,
that was a crazy time.
Yeah, I've been dope sick more than a handful of times myself. So, and you end up pregnant again.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You know how that happens, right?
I don't know how that happened. Anyway, I had this boy, and he's going to be 43 here, July 2nd, I believe. And I don't know. Like I just, I tried so hard. In my life, when I look back at it, I know I did try so hard to be a good person, but I just couldn't fucking do it. I just couldn't. I didn't know how. I had no skills. I was nothing but a hoe, right? Laid on my back for money, stole, ripped people off.
Yeah.
Got shot at, got stabbed, fell out of a bus, hit by a car, and I'm still here. So there must be a reason, right?
Must be a reason.
But East Hastings was a real learning curve. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Daniel, that if I said I didn't enjoy some of the shit I was doing, I'd be a liar.
I have to rant here for a second. You hear around the recovery communities, they'll say, my worst day sober is better than my best day using. And I'm going to just say this out loud. That's bullshit. I had some great days using. It wasn't all terrible. It got real dark at the end, when I lost control. But in the beginning, there was some really good times. Mm-hmm. Just had to say that shit out loud.
I remember when my brother died, when he was shot. My father was still alive. His brother was still alive. And my uncle was selling heroin in Calgary. So my uncle come and told my dad, I don't know, come to Calgary. And then my dad, I want to go. So they just want to take my dad away for a while, get him out of Regina. So we go to Calgary with my uncle, and they were looking after my mushum was there, their dad. I think he was in Calgary. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We were in Calgary, and that's where I had my first fix of heroin. Holy shit, man! I thought, fuck, I hit gold. This shit was home. And I remember waking up in the tub. My uncle's pouring water on my head. My aunt is pouring water in my face. My dad's looking over my uncle's shoulder and says, "What's my baby doing in the tub?" I don't know what my uncle said, but I had OD'd instantly. He gave me half a cap. I don't know what it was. It was some kind of awesome heroin. And I went under. And I came to, and then he said, "Okay, go to the store." The store was like a block away or something. It took me an hour and a half to get to the store and back because I'd walk and then I'd go on the nod. Mm-hmm. So that was my first taste. And then heroin would become my flavor.
Yeah. Because
it was good. Like the shit that they have today, these drugs are fucking bullshit. I mean, the stuff we had was like pure. Yeah. I hate to say it, but it was good. You couldn't make shit from your kitchen sink, right?
Yeah.
I did a lot of LSD too when I was a kid, when we were 14, 15. Yeah, it's trippy.
We've got some comments coming in here.
Oh.
Tammy, thanks for the comment. She says, "Oh, hi, wise woman you are. I met in Dillon, Saskatchewan, Buffalo River Dene Nation. Hi.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, Tammy. And we've got Cindy chiming in. I adore you, Sharon. Thank you for the comment, Cindy. So, okay.
One of my students. She's one of my students. She's a graduate, yeah.
Tell us all the terrible things, Cindy. Tell us all of them in the viewer's voice at the end. Give us some horror stories. Oh, and we've got one more. We've got
Oh, my niece.
Thank you for the comment. So okay, so you are now. Where were we here?
East Hastings.
Yes, you are on East Hastings. You are pregnant, and then your sister dies.
Yeah. Yeah, my sister died. My son was, he must have been just about 7 months or something like that. And I got a notice, and I think the cops came right into the bar to tell me about my sister. And, of course, I went snaky and trying to act all hurt and shit. Always looking for pity, always looking to be the attention. Didn't matter who died, as long as I got the attention, because I was important. Let me fix my crown, And so she passed away, and I was on welfare in Vancouver, and they sent me back to Regina on a plane with my son, and I went to the. I don't even. You know what? I don't remember the funeral. I've tried to, over the years, like the books I've written, everything I've tried to remember. I do not remember her funeral, but I remember that she was the most amazing person that you could ever know, and she was beautiful, and she tried so hard to sober up. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. Just give me a minute, Daniel.
It's okay. Take your time. We've got Cricket chiming in. Says, "You're beautiful, Dr. Sharon."
Thank you, Cricket. That's my granddaughter's friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my sister was going to Alcoholics Anonymous, and we were always making fun of her. And, oh, you're going to assholes always.
Well, not all wrong.
No. But when she was good, she was good. But when she was bad, she was bad. But I have nothing bad to say about any of my family. Like, I hear people now battling with their families and stuff, and I think, how does that happen? Like, I never fought with my family. My brother Joey would chalk me up a few times, but he was trying to keep me off the street, but I wouldn't listen. And I never talked down about my family, because they were the most beautiful things in the world. My sister died, and I never went back to Vancouver, and I left everything I had in Vancouver, and I had pictures of everyone in my family, everyone, all gone, just like that. I never went back, and I fell in love again. And it was, and then I ended up staying in Vancouver, and then I ended up losing my son when he was 9 months old.
What do you mean losing him?
Well, the welfare took him away. One of my friends actually ratted on me. Best thing she could have ever done.
Yeah.
It got taken away from me, and I did try to get him back, but
yeah.
I know how to look after myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So your son was apprehended. Then what? You ended up in jail again?
Oh yeah, I was in jail. I ended up back in jail, and just in and out. It actually, I gotta say though, Daniel, that I think going to jail kind of saved my ass, because it gave me time to go clean up, right?
Jailhouse Genesis.
Yeah. Clean up any diseases I might have picked up along the way.
Some of those are permanent, man.
Well, not back then. Back then we were pretty safe. You had just like gonorrhea, syphilis, and shit like that. There was no HIV wasn't alive then. Back it might have been, but I don't know if it was. We never heard too much about it. Right?
Uh-huh. So okay, in and out of jail, and then you end up in Prince Albert.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I went to jail. Sorry, excuse me. I went to jail I was 29. So I don't know when that was. 1979, 1980. I went to jail 1980. I got out of Pine Grove in 1980. And I was in with my cousin. And my times in jail were like, Pine Grove was like a girls' school really back in the day. When I first went in, I was 18. I think I was 18 or 19. And there was like only 16 or 17 of us. And 16 of us would be Indigenous, and then there'd be one little white girl always. We had fun with them.
I bet.
In a good way. We're all street people. We're all, we got along. We were like, there was honor among thieves. There ain't no more. But we had honor among thieves back in the day. So I remember, the craziness in jail and just, and then when I was getting out, go to the front, get all my shit, and the guards would say, well, see you later, Acoose. And I couldn't stand when they called me Acoose. Oh, I could have punched. It just bugged me. Don't ask. I don't even know. I had a first name. Call me Sharon. It's my first goddamn name, right? Mm-hmm. And another thing they could have done, instead of saying, hey, see you later, maybe try and encourage me to find, you know what I'm saying? Like go to counselor or whatever, but no. And because they set the pace for me. So I went to jail just about every year from the time I was 18 until I was 30 when I got out. And then went back in one more time when I was 31. I had to do weekends. I got caught stealing. Yeah. And so I end up in PA, get out of jail. My cousin was in jail with me, and she did really awesome. And she's been sober for a million years, I think, already. And but I remember I would go to AA meetings because I was a good little inmate. I wanted to get out once in a while, so I would go to meetings, and I'd meet one of my cousins in the bathroom, and they'd give me a bunch of pills, and I'd take all these pills, and I'd be sitting in this meeting, and I'd be just freaking stoned. And my cousin would know. She'd sit beside me, and she'd start hitting me and punching me, like so no one could see, because she didn't want me to talk, because I was bummed out, right? So it was like wild. It was like, honestly, I got to tell you something, Daniel. I actually had a good time when I was in jail.
I've heard that before. Some people really like it in there.
I was there with the right people, with the right women, and we were all cut from the same cloth. And there was this lady. I went to jail in Vancouver. It was, I can't remember what it's called now. It's not there anymore. I think they ripped it down, but it was a co-ed joint, women on one side, men on the other. And I remember I went there, I got picked up for solicitation, selling myself, and got picked up and thrown there. And I remember meeting this woman. She was from Washington, I think, Washington State. Indian woman from down there. And she was a hit woman. I thought, oh my God. And I was so captivated by her. And I was always hanging around her. And I said, don't worry. I said, I'm not into women. I'm not a muff dyer. I just like you. I think you're awesome. Tell me more. So she was, she killed people. She was a contract killer. Oh. And she was my hero. Right? Like what kind of hero? But I met some really dangerous women in my time, and some of them are still around, and I love them like to death. It's just, crazy world, right?
Like they've turned it around, and they're not.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of friends. Yeah, a lot of my friends are not around, or they've passed away, or they're just not around, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you're out. You're in PA, and you get pregnant again.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened either.
Keeps happening.
I get this. So I met this woman, and she didn't drink. She was sober, and I could never understand that. And we became fast friends. And we went to I don't know how many of us drove to Morange, and we went to the zoo. There's a bar called the Zoo. It was a freaking zoo, trust me. And that's where I met my baby, my daughter. Now that's where I met her dad. And oh my God, I was such an insect. Like I just had no morals. I couldn't rationalize, and I couldn't think, and I just fucking did, right? Just did. Just took who I wanted, and if I wanted your man, I'd take him, and then I'd give him back. Like, What kind of woman was that? Well, that was someone who lived with sexual abuse for a long time.
Yeah.
and didn't know how to handle it, you know. And so got out of jail, decided, well, I think I'll stay in PA. I'll change my life. Well, I would end up with the same kind of people that I was trying to get away from. I was like a magnet to assholes, magnet to street people, and was doing drugs and but I got a job. I got a job. Yeah, I got a job at the well, I was working in the bar, but then I got another job when I was pregnant with the Native Women Association in Regina, in Prince Albert, and that's where I would meet one of my elders, and it was just, I actually had a job. I was making money, and I didn't use drugs while I was pregnant, so I stopped right away. As soon as I found out I was pregnant with Starla, I stopped, and and had her, and she was 2 years old, and I just thought, you know what, I'm out of here. I called my friend, I said, I want to move, get a U-Haul. So she got her truck, and we packed all my shit, we left PA, came back to Regina, and of course I would end up, you know, all messed up again and still doing drugs. And
okay, well, we're gonna stop right there, and we're gonna go into the turning point. But before we do, the viewer's voice is coming up for anybody who's watching who would like to say something about Sharon or say something to Sharon. Put your comments in the chat, and we will go through all of them during the viewer's voice. But here we go. Okay, Sharon, what happened in Regina?
Well, you know, I had a place. I found a place to live. Well, I lived at a few places, but I was, you know, still drinking a lot, doing a lot of dope, and Starla was. I still had Starla, and then I don't know. One day, I don't know if it was an epiphany I had or one of those aha moments. I thought, I'm getting too old. You know, I'll tell you a quick little story. So I was still turning tricks, trying to, and one of my sister friends, she's not anymore, but was working in an escort agency. So I was borrowing money. So this one time they called me and they said, because I needed money, I was trying to borrow money. She said, just come to the studio. There's a man from the north and he wants someone Spanish. And I had lots of black curly hair before it turned white. So I got all dolled up, and I went on this call. Oh my God, I can't believe some of the stuff that I do. It was just bizarre. Got all dressed up and pushed me out the door, and I had $500 in my hand within 5 or 10 minutes, and I thought, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. This is not who I am. So I don't know if I reached out or what, or I was on welfare. I think that's what happened, because I was on welfare. I met 2 social workers, a man and a woman, and I think one of them has passed away now. They might have both, I'm not sure. But they were incredible people. Like, and that's the kind of social workers that I'm trying to make right now with what I do now. In what way? What made them stand out to you? What made them reach you? They were compassionate, they were caring, they understood, they didn't call me down, they didn't treat me bad. I went to jail for choking a social worker once, you know, when I was trying to get my son back. And so I had a visit, but I woke up dope sick and I had to go pick up a check. That's when welfare was on 13th Avenue in Regina. So I went there, and I was 24, I think, 24. And then the social worker, a little white girl, was 24. But they put me in this office, and I'm fidgety, I'm dope sick. So they put me in the office, the door is here, there's a chair here, they sat me there, and they let her go around. First idea was bad. So she comes in, she sits down, and she's like, she's looking me up and down. I thought, oh, this ain't gonna go right. So I'm trying to be calm, and I'm trying to, talk to her nicely, and Then she looked at me and she picked up the check and she said, "Is this what you want?" Wow. So guess what happened? Sharon seen red, kicked the door, closed, jumped over the desk, and I'm choking her, and I was crying at the same time. And then there's this big black guy. He used to be a cop. He was a great cop, really a nice cop, and he was good to our people. But he went from being a cop to a social worker, and he could hear the ruckus. So he come in there and he picked me up by the scruff of my neck. It's like I was a rag doll. And he said, "Sharon, what are you doing?" Everyone knew me by first name. The police. I used to have ambulances waiting outside the bar because I fucking OD'd all the time.
At least he didn't call you Acoose.
No, he didn't call me Acoose. And so I remember I went to court and I got 6 months.
For choking a social worker. I know for a fact there is a woman watching right now that would be like, that might be worth it.
But I tell that story to my students. Then we talk about it after, and we talk about the ethics, and we talk about how could she have done different. Because she as soon as she walked into that room, I could feel it. She thought she was here, and I'm down here, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was a good 6 months.
Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Way worth it. Yeah.
Way worth it. Yeah.
So I find these social workers. They start helping me. 1985, the Indian Act changed. So through there, I got my treaty rights back. And my sister-in-law and my brother were always there helping me and supporting me. As I only have one brother left. And then he's my oldest brother, and then his wife. And then I have lots of cousins and nieces and great nephews and stuff like that, grandchildren. And so I go to, I don't know how in the hell I ended up in the program, but I did. And I remember going to meetings, and I remember, well, first the treaty status, then I got a pardon, and then I started university in 1989. And I remember going to university and thinking, holy shit, man. I was at the U of R. And it was one of the scariest things I ever did.
Okay, hang on now. So you went from choking a social worker to being a university student. Now, what was the time frame in between those two things?
Oh, I choked that bitch when I was 24.
Okay.
So I didn't start going to university till my late 37, I think, or 38.
Oh, so a lot of time passed between the two things you just said.
Yeah, a lot of time.
So now there's a lot of comments coming up. Now, don't worry, everybody. We're going to get to your questions and comments, so be patient. Okay. Now, what happened in between then? You said you entered into the recovery communities. You walked into the rooms. What was that like for you?
Oh, that was like, I remember the first one I went to, and I walked into the room, and I looked around the room. I thought there was a bunch of old white guys, dollar signs on their heads.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Old habits die hard, right?
Oh, Sharon.
But I got past it. Past it. I wasn't turning tricks in the program. Trust me.
Okay.
But so I started going to university, and I started. That, and it was amazing. Like I didn't know how to write. I didn't know how to do shit, and yet I went to university, and I was starting to get immersed into culture a little bit, but not a whole lot. Like I would go to the odd pipe ceremony, and I was talking to the elders, the women elders, the male elders, and I started volunteering at the convocations, at our convocations, and our convocations they're so beautiful. They bring the students in with a man dancing in his regalia, and they use the honor song, the victory song. They're just beautiful. And so I would stand at the back, and I would watch the sea of blue gowns walk across. And I thought, oh my God, I gotta have it. I gotta have it.
What? A sea of what?
Blue gowns. It's light blue. Our gowns are light blue instead of the black ones that the U of R uses.
Yeah.
So. And I would stand back and I'd think, shit, I wonder if I can do that. And I thought, you know what? I ain't giving up. And I went, I was trying to learn, I just do all this stuff, went to university and It was incredible.
So what did you take? What did you go into university
Well,
for? 'Cause
I went to a Bachelor of Human Justice. I got first. So a
Okay.
Bachelor of Human Justice I got first.
So I'm confused. You have a grade 9 education, and you only have that because they
I
were
don't
sick
even
of you.
have a grade 9. I have a grade 8.
Okay, so where did this conversation happen? Where you were like did someone say, "Hey, you should go to university," or were you? Is that a decision you made, or like what?
Yeah, it was just I don't know how the hell. I don't know. I wanted to go to school for some reason.
So you're just like, let's go.
Yeah, so I did.
Okay. And so you get your bachelor's. That's 4 years, right?
19. It took me 5.
5 years.
1993. I graduated with the BHJ, and then I was a jail guard. Almost forgot. I was a jail guard for like 6 years, I think. That was
after you got your bachelor's.
After I got the bachelor's, and then I decided to I kept volunteering when I was a student. Then I got a job in 1999 with the university. I was an academic counselor for SIFC.
Wait a minute now. Sorry to interrupt you again, but let's talk about your jail guard experience. What was that like with your lived experience being in jail? Now you're running the show in there. So what was that like for you?
Oh, it was the first 6 months were rough. I almost quit because I'd go home crying all the time.
Why?
I don't know. I was just people talking shit and taking things personal. And then one day I just thought, you know what? No, I didn't come into this world for someone to walk all over me.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no. So I went back. I just I grabbed my balls and away I went.
Uh-huh.
And I was a pretty good guard. I think they thought that I was going to be bringing all, because a lot of those guys I knew in there, lots of them were old flames.
Oh no.
Guys I'd gone out with, right?
Uh-huh.
And so that didn't happen. I became just, it was so awesome. Like you know what? Not all guards are assholes either. It's just not. I met some really good people in there, and I became friends with them and still friends with them. But it was at the beginning, I'd get really shook by the sound of the bars and the keys. That took a long time to get over.
Yeah.
But I got over it.
So was it like a trigger for you? Like it took you back to bad places?
It was a big trigger, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It passed. So then I decided I want to do a master's. I want to keep going. And the Bachelor of Human Justice didn't have a master's, so I was allowed to, I applied for the Master of Social Work at the U of R and got accepted. So another learning curve,
So before we get too far, now is that why you stopped being a guard, or did something happen and you stopped being a guard?
No, I actually moved, but I'll get there.
Okay.
So I decided to do this master's degree. It took me a year and 1 semester. So 1995, I graduated with a Master of Social Work, and then I was also working as an academic advisor. And something came across our desk about an internal job for the director of Indian social work in Saskatoon. I thought, I'm going to apply for it. Unbeknownst to me that I didn't have that kind of experience, but I thought, you know what? I'm an addict. It's all or nothing. So I applied I came up here to Saskatoon, applied for the job, got it. I didn't get the director job, and then they hired me to teach. I thought, oh my God, now I got to try to pretend I know how to teach. So in 2003, a friend of mine comes up to me. He says, hey, are you still interested in a PhD? And I said, shit, is the Pope Catholic? I said, hell yeah. He said, okay, go to the University of Saskatchewan, College of Medicine, Community Health and Epidemiology, and look for Dr. Leonard Tan. And I did. Went and met this awesome man. We talked. I told him about me, and he said, okay, you got to write a proposal. I didn't know what a proposal was, but I did it. So I go and get interviewed by all these people. Oh my God, it was crazy.
So, okay, how do you don't know how to do a proposal, you said, right? So how did you go and ask somebody, how do I do this? Or did you just pull it out of your butt, or what? Like, how did you pull it off?
I just wrote it. I just wrote what I thought they were looking for. You know what they did? They gave me I had to answer some questions.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to tell them about me, like what I'm doing right here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I told them who I was, where I come from, blah, blah, that kind of stuff. So,
okay.
So I got this letter 2 weeks later, and I was scared to open it. And I went to work and I said, here, I told Louise, open this. I'm scared. It's from the U of S. No, I said, come on, open it. So she opened it and she's looking at it like this, nothing on her face. And this, I thought, oh, I didn't get in. She said, here. So I took the letter and it said, Dear Sharon Acoose, we're pleased to advise you that you have been accepted into the Department of Community Health and Epidemiology. And I looked, I think I was almost crying, I don't know. And then Louise is looking at me, way to go, buddy. And then I looked at her, I said, Louise, what the fuck does epidemiology mean?
So
I didn't even know.
So when these things
I didn't
happen,
know
like
what it meant.
you come into these big things that happen. Is like, do you think like I used to turn tricks. I used to put fucking needles in my arms, and now I'm gonna go be a doctor. Like, does that ever like wash over you? Like, does that ever like?
Yeah, it does. Like actually, a lot actually, and that's why like I don't let I don't like people to call me like doctor. What you know what I mean? Like it's just I got it now. Okay, so I got it.
Yeah. And
I just think it's amazing. I still think it's amazing because I thought, holy shit. Mm-hmm. So it took me 8.5 years. And June 6th of 2013, I walked across the stage at the TCU place and accepted a PhD.
What was that like? Tell us.
It was like, I think I had a small orgasm. I'm not sure.
Were you wearing the light blue gown?
No, I was wearing a crazy gown. The crazy gown I was wearing. U of S, it's a PhD gown. You got to see it. It's crazy looking.
Okay, maybe someday I will.
And what really blew my mind was, so I'm walking across the stage, got my degree, and I was going to go down the stairs, and they stopped me. I thought, oh,
they're going to arrest me for something.
But they invited me to sit on the stage, and that, to some normal run-of-the-mill person, that's nothing. But for me to be asked to go sit on a stage with all these like bigwigs it was amazing. It was amazing. Because if they would have known me 60 years ago, they would have had their wallets locked up. And that was amazing. And now I've been I go to lots of 12-step. I don't know if I can talk about it, but I go to a lot of meetings and then I found ceremony. In 2002, I got hired here. And I started meeting elders and I started going to ceremony, and oh my goodness. Like it's crazy how because I didn't know nothing. Like we didn't have smudge or medicines or not. I mean, there might have been, they probably did, but we didn't use them on Skid Road in Regina. Right?
Yeah.
So I was immersed into culture. And it was just one of the best things. And I love my job, man. I love my job. I love it so much. I mean, I get in trouble once in a while, but I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. That's who I am. Just stuff that, I might do something wrong, say something wrong, but whatever. It is what it is. But I love the people I work with, and it's an amazing university. And I'm just like blessed. I'm just so blessed. I've just come. And I think back to my life, I think, holy shit, man. How? Well, you know how? I'm going to say it. Because I said, hello, my name is Sharon Acoose, and I'm an alcoholic with a drug problem. That's how. Who knew? Who knew that simple little phrase was going to change my whole world? I didn't. I thought I was going to be dead before I was 20, and I'm just turned 68. Right? Go figure.
Yeah. So now you're researching and you've developed a class.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna the ethics class. Mind you, Louise has helped me, but it's just things that we do as profs. So I'm hoping to teach this class in the winter of 2022, and then we're writing a book. I'm writing a book, and I'm the faculty. There's a few people helping me, so we're writing a book on ethics in Indigenous social work. That's going to be the textbook for this class. So
You're writing a textbook
yeah,
for a university class.
yeah, for one of our classes. Yeah,
That's incredible. And that brings us to today. Okay. Well, we are going to now have a look at some viewer comments and maybe answer some questions and have a laugh. Here we go. Okay, just got to scroll up here. There's a lot. Okay, where should we start? Well, here's...
back to the reserve later, if that's okay. I can go.
She talking to you?
Oh, what? They heard you.
It's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that, Daniel.
No, it's fine. So Anne says, you're doing awesome. What do we got here? Shireen, I'm so proud of you for telling your story. You are truly an amazing woman. Thank you, Shireen. I hope I said your name right. We have Dana. Always wonderful to see you, Dana. Thank you for the comment. I just think you're amazing, Sharon. And you have such an amazing story that has and will help so many women. I love you. We have Janelle Thomas. Good for her. Have Harmony. Thank you for the comment. When you became a social worker, did you ever run into the social worker you choked in a work environment? I hope you did.
No, I didn't. I was never a practicing social worker. I just got the degree that helped me get the job, right?
Yeah. You see her just like, so how's it going? What you got to say today? So we've got Dana here again. I will be a better social worker because of you. Because Dana is afraid to get choked. That is why she will be better. So we've got Stephanie. Thank you for the comment, Stephanie. I remember that. When you disappeared for a few months, I don't know which story she was talking to. But she remembers the story.
That's my baby. That's my firstborn.
Oh, well, thank you for being here tonight, Stephanie. That's amazing. Now, what else do we got? We've got Shar. I so love you. Thank you for the comment, Shar. Here's Donna. Thank you for the comment, Donna. Thank you for being here. Yeah, this Donna, she's got a sore spot for social workers too. That's why when you were telling that part of your story, I'm like, oh, Donna's she's good with this. She's okay with that. So, and again, Donna loves all of my guests. And we have Barb Bornsler. Love you, Sharon. Thank you. Thank you for the comment, Barb. Sharon, if you have anything to say, just go ahead and talk over me. I'll shut up. Like if I'm just beaking off here, if you want to say something to anybody, just pipe up.
No, you know what? I'm just grateful that I don't do this because I don't trust this kind of stuff. So this has been and I'll tell you why. Okay, so I'm a jail guard, right? And I think it was CTV or something, some person got a hold of me and said, would you like to do a story on the Saturday, in the Leader Post, the Saturday special or whatever, the Saturday's kind of special, whatever? I said, sure. So we're interviewing and we're driving around Skid Road. There was hardly anything. I mean, everything's gone. There's nothing there. So, but they had me standing in alleys and shit. So the interview was over and so I went to work and somebody called me, one of my jail guard buddies. They said, come and look at this paper. So I went and looked at this paper and on the Saturday special, great big page. It says Sharon Acoose, ex-prostitute. I was just, I don't know why I was taken aback. It just pissed me off because it pissed me off. And I thought, oh my God. But you know what? I actually, I had a woman called me from New Zealand to congratulate me. And
After seeing that paper, or
yeah, well, I don't know what the hell. Yeah, I was
how
getting
did it get all the way to New Zealand?
who knows? I was getting calls from all over the place about how, how thank you, and so so every I was never a good mother. I was never a good lover. I was never a good auntie. Never a good daughter. Just never. And so I had a lot of things to sow. Right, I had to forgive myself for a lot of, like, my whole life, because messed up my kids and but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
You gotta suck it up, Buttercup. Because today, and I keep my past very close because I use it in my classroom, because I think it's very important that in this day and age, with the shit that's going on now, that we can continue to try help. And so I'm very honored. I'm very honored to be here, and I'm very honored to have met you. And I want to thank you, Daniel, for having me on your show. And I didn't have a trust issue really, but just just little triggers here and there, and think, oh my God, what am I doing? But you can't back out when you're trying to help somebody. So if there's anything that I can say to anybody, it's simply that there's no bars held. Like, just
Let it out.
Just find what you're good at and just roll with it.
Be what you are.
I'm not good at anything but teaching, and I can teach really good, but I have no skills. Like, I can't bead and I can't sew, and I used to do a mean pole dance.
Why am I not surprised to hear that? Like, it would have been weirder if you didn't say that.
But yeah, so I just want to thank everyone for all their amazing comments and all the support that I've always gotten from my students and my family and my friends. And I love them all. I love everybody. I just think it's amazing.
Well, we're not done yet. We've got more comments coming. We've got Janelle here. Thank you for the comment, Janelle. I really respect your attitude towards your past. It's evident the amount of work you've done on yourself. You are truly an inspiration, Janelle. I could not agree more with you. And now we have, it skipped ahead here. Let's see, where did we go? Yes, we have Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. Did you have to wear the crazy PhD hat too?
Yes, I did.
I wish we had a picture of that, because I have no idea what you ladies are talking about.
Do you want me to go? Hey, come here. That picture of me, my grad picture, go get it from
go get
on top of there on my desk.
We've got Barb Fornsler chiming in again. Academic dress is ridiculous, but the hats are the best. Well, we're about to see, Barb. We're about to see. That's not that bad.
Yeah, I guess not.
A little bit closer. A little bit closer. Little bit closer. Oh, yeah. Well, it's not that bad. I was expecting something much crazier than that. It looks like something the rap star would wear.
But I mean, when I look at this, I think, like, who'd have thunk? Like, I was a thief. I was a monster.
Yeah.
But I was a monster in waiting. Right?
Maybe you were just put there to learn something, to help someone else. You don't know what the people that you're helping are going to go on to do, right? So it's all part of a divine plan. In my opinion, anyways. You believe what you want. So we've got Teresa here. I miss you so much, cuz, sending big hugs. Thank you for the comment, Teresa. And Dana, yes, that is. I was talking to our mutual friend Barb the other day, and we were just chatting a little bit about you and a little bit about the upcoming show. And I said, I think I have a way to describe Sharon. She is comfortably abrasive. It's like you can tell someone off in such a way that it makes them feel good, and I don't understand. It's like in the video that's dropping tomorrow. There was a minute there, and you're like, if you're gonna do this, look in the camera. If you're going to do this, you got to learn. You can't just sit here and ask the questions all the time. And then it was just like back to like, you know, I'm like, holy shit, what just happened there? So, and you're right. You know, you were right to say that. We've got Shar here. Fist pump. Thank you, Shar. Excellent. Does that mean, am I missing something here? Does that mean something?
That's that power thing, you know, that sign of power.
Okay. We've got Donna Lee. Thank you for teaching me to be a stronger, proud Indigenous woman. Thank you so much for your comment, Donna, and thank you for being here tonight. And we've got Cricket again. Thank you for sharing your story. Love you. We've got Candace. Thank you, Candace. You face your past head on. Very brave. Amazing words from Teresa. Got hearts from Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, I love the hat too. I don't see, it's not weird.
You got to see it in person. If you see it in person, it's crazy. Like, for real.
Do you have one? Do you have it?
No.
Okay. Because I was going to be like, I'm coming over tomorrow and you're going to take a picture. So, what else? I think we're coming to the end. Yeah, here's the last one. Janelle, you are a solid person. I always admired your blunt truths. Also, where can I get your books? Yes, Janelle, thank you. That almost got forgotten. Let's see, put them up close so people can see.
There's one. Oops. This is okay, so these two came out of my dissertation. So my PhD dissertation, that's what this is about.
Okay.
And then this one, this is my master's thesis.
An Indigenous woman's experience and view. It's a lonely world. Wow.
They can actually, you can get them, you can go to John, oh my God, my publisher, what's his name? John Charlton. If you Google John Charlton.
Oh, Barb's got you covered. Barb's got you covered.
Oh, okay, there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Barb.
Barb's good for that. We love Barb.
That's where you can get that. And then my PhD is at the U of S. I can't remember the name of it. Isn't that sad? What the hell?
Barb probably knows.
Anyway, it's there. You can find it there.
Oh, yeah. And here we go. We've got a couple more comments. The sharing of your experiences in class are priceless. You prepare us for reality. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shar. Janelle, again, you're a solid person. Oh, I already read that one. My bad. Okay. Well, I think the comments have come to an end. I think that actually, is there anything that you would like to say tonight to anybody that might be watching and struggling?
You know, you just got to stand up. You got to stand up and be counted. And I know trust me, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to say no to drugs. I know it's hard to say no to alcohol. I know, especially with these drugs we have now. But if you really want something different, then stand up and be counted and find the help. Call somebody. Don't ever give up. I never gave up. I never ever gave up on myself. I did while I was out there, but not anymore. You know, you got to find that. You got to find that what's in here. You got to find that fire that's in here again. Right? That's what happens. Most of us lose our spirits. They go away. They come back. But just don't ever give up and call somebody, talk to somebody, reach out. That's what I would say. Cool. And suck it up, buttercup.
That's my favorite line. Because that mentality worked for me. You know, I didn't need my hand held. I needed my ass kicked.
No, for real. You can't. I mean, if I would have had people still feeling sorry for me, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. I had some tough people kick my ass. And that's what we need. We need a good ass kicking. Sometimes, right? Yeah.
Okay, Sharon. Well, I will let you get back to your evening. Thank you so much for joining us. It was an honor to have you share your story with me tonight. So, and we will talk to you again soon. Okay, let's go into the call to action. Okay. Fostering change is our primary purpose here at Hard Knox Talks. If you would like to contribute to ending the stigma around emotional pain, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Like and comment your thoughts on our posts. Let us come together with our knowledge and living experience as a resource that has the power to engage new thought processes, to promote new ideas, to broaden the spectrum of care, and to show the world that the lie is dead. We do recover, and we are here to show you how. Good night.